Hello. We are here to shoot your very own Never Before Told episode hosted by Premier Collectibles.
Hello, my darling. Okay. I'm your mama. This is my middle child, my cheerleader, mama. She's been a mama to me, a daughter, a best friend. And I asked her to do this today because, well, she's so smart. I know she's mine, but she's so smart. And y'all should have seen her in fourth grade when she played Jackie O. And I have the same feeling of excitement that I did that day. Do you remember I held my breath through your whole speech?
And so did Mama.
So did Mama and Dee Dee. And you were perfect. And she had a little outfit from JCPenney.
And a box hat. Yeah.
But thank you for doing this.
Yes, of course. It's good to be out in the open because I always joke that being the middle child, I'm in the shadows, which is good. I am the glue and I hold everyone together. But every once in a while, I'll be on an Instagram post or a story and somebody will go, who is that? Who is that girl? And I don't know if they think I work for you or I live next door. But I am her daughter and I am here. And I'm so excited to be part of this. So
thank you for doing it.
Yes, thank you for having me. Can you tell us about some of the never before told things we can anticipate hearing a little about today and can read a lot more about in What in the World?
Yes. Okay. We were thinking about what were some of the stories, and I hope y'all love this book. I felt in my heart through 25 years of doing comedy, I had a book in me. I just felt this feeling, I got to get this out, I got to get this down. And so I hope y'all think it's funny, and because I'm a comedian, but I really put my heart and soul into this. And we were talking about one of the stories is meeting your daddy, Chuck Morgan.
Yeah, let's tell people because you talk about it a little bit in the book, but let's go into detail about how you met Dad, because my whole life you've talked about how you met, how I met your father and how we wouldn't have, if I had met my man, I don't know if it would have gone as well if I met him the way that you met Dad. So let's tell people, let's give them an insight into how you met my father. Okay.
And in this book, I talk about, I got married really young. I was at the University of Tennessee and I was flailing and I was, a country rural little kid and I was overwhelmed. Anyway, I married real young, and then I got a divorce, and it was very painful. I was very ashamed, and but I wanted to go back to school and get my life back. And my sweet daddy said to me, I remember saying to him, Daddy, I'm 23 now. When I graduate, I'll be 26, and I thought that was 100. And he goes, you'll be 26 anyway. Why don't you get an education? So anyway, I went back to school and I was working at waiting tables at Grady's, which was very popular. And everybody could make a lot of money. It was the best place to work in Knoxville. And your daddy, Chuck Morgan, was in MBA school, came to work there. They had a group of people, trainees come through, and I'm standing up against the wall waiting for my table to be seated. And let me say that I had, after divorce, I just cut all my hair off, my nails off. I don't know what that was, but I just had to shed. And I looked like...
I think that's a normal response to a breakup.
And it was
colored
not
my
like
hair
me.
pink, remember?
Do what?
I went through a breakup and colored my hair pink. Hot pink. It's a normal response.
Yeah. So I'd done all of that. I didn't even look like myself. Yeah. And because I've raised them in a beauty salon. So anyway... Chuck Morgan comes through and is tall as, he's 6'4", he was so thin, he looked like, I say, a praying mantis. But he did, I mean that in a sweet way. And I said, you're tall as a tree. And he said, sorry. And I thought, another butthole has come to work at Grady's because everybody was kind of egotistical if you got a job there. And I thought, oh, great. And I thought, I'm not going to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He starts standing by me up against that wall after he got trained and never said a word. He's very introverted and shy. And he fell in love with me. Well, I was talking my head off to everybody. We were talking about I don't even know what.
And I'm sure he didn't insert himself into conversations. He just stood over you and watched you talk.
He stood over. He
watched you talk. He fell in love with you.
But I just thought this, tall thing is standing next to me. Then we have a shift meeting where they talk about this, before you start your shift, what everybody's got to do and all that. Because it was a big restaurant for football teams. Well, I mean, the football, University of Tennessee would play. We'd be on our way all day long, no breaks. It was a big deal. So we were sitting there and we could have something to eat. And I was eating a baked potato, loaded.
Of course.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Load a potato. Okay. Chuck Morgan sat down beside me and said, you don't need to eat all that fat.
Which that's where I would have said, okay, I'll never speak to you again, you weirdo. But instead that was the end. That was his end.
Well, he had a baked potato and he had cottage cheese on it.
Gross.
And maybe a little A1. And anyway, I thought, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and you and I have the same personality, and we just go, okay. And then in my mind, I thought, I really don't like him. And the whole time, he was desperately in love with me while he was telling me not to eat fat on that potato.
Which I feel like we need to tell people that he's not one of those that would go out and shame people for food. He was on his own. Wasn't he on a weird weight loss journey? Because he was in a fraternity and he had gained a bunch of weight, eating a bunch of chicken and drinking beer. Yeah.
And
so he had started running, was eating potatoes with cottage cheese, which is gross. And he was nervous to be around you, and that was his way of flirting.
That was his way of flirting.
Because he would never in a million years actually go to someone and go, you shouldn't eat that.
Right.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
Yeah, but he was so embarrassed to even be existing around you that that's the only thing he could think of, which is pitiful.
And y'all should have seen me. I sang this all the time on stage. Y'all should have seen me in the 80s, okay? When he saw me, I was my best. Except I cut all my hair off.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, he couldn't get his breath around me. So then he started wooing me. And when we were waiting tables, there would be a baby. A family would be sitting there and the baby would be crying. They would say they couldn't eat. Your daddy would go get that baby, wait tables while he was holding a baby, bring that baby to me, knowing that my uterus ate. And I wanted a family. And that's how he got me. That's how he got me. Was.
And he genuinely loves babies, too.
He genuinely loves babies, but he knew that I wanted to be a mama.
Premeditated, right.
That was premeditated, and he knew that would set me on fire. And he started buying me gifts. If we were on the line and somebody had a cute new purse, I would say, I love your purse. He would have that purse for me the next day, wrapped with a bow. I still have that purse.
And he would clean the women's bathrooms for you, so you didn't have to do it because they were the nastiest bathrooms.
So, women are so nasty in the restaurant bathroom. It was like The Shining. And Chuck Morgan would go and do my sign work before I even knew that he had done it. And he worked shifts for me. If I had a test, he would work my shift and give me the money.
So you could study.
So I could study, and then I'd probably go home and leave study. But anyway, yes, that was Chuck Morgan. That's in the book, but there's more details.
I also think you didn't talk about this in the book, but I think it's funny when you were waiting tables and you poured that dressing into a woman's purse. That's a funny. Tell them about that.
Thousand Island was big, and eelskin purses were big. Do y'all remember the little what are those purses called that look like a little doctor's bag? A doctor's bag shaped purse.
With
eelskin.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was real eel. But a woman had a really nice purse, and I was waiting. We had these big trays, and I had all these ramekins of Thousand Island, and in slow motion, I'd watch that ramekin fall off and spill down in her purse. But she was sweet about it.
Sweet. And Grady's is where the P.F. Chang's is. now,
In
right?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
And now we have a PF Chang's there.
Yeah. But a lot of people, I've got travel all over the United States on tour, and I cannot tell y'all how many times somebody from Grady's will say, Leanne, remember me from Grady's? It was like like a fraternity, really. Everybody
or
could
like
come
a
through there.
TV show, because we're out and about. We'll be at the Anthropology, and some woman I've never seen in my life will come up to me or you and go, I waited tables with your mom at Grady's. I want to go talk to your mom real quick. We waited tables at Grady's. I feel like I've met 1,000 people that all waited tables at Grady's.
It did, because that was the place to be.
Right. Can you tell us the biggest way you've grown as an individual while writing this book?
Okay. And I don't mean to get emotional, but when I was writing this, and then when I was doing the Audible also, I thought, even though, I don't have everything in the book, because I want this to be fun, a fun book, but honest and authentic to who I am. But you can't help when you write a book, you think about memories, like you're talking about your grandparents and they passed. So, it's hard, because you think back of all these people that you loved in your childhood, and there's, everybody's got things that happened in their family, or, painful things. You think about that kind of stuff. And then I was also thinking about from 17 to 25, how I was just flailing, and I didn't really want to go. I mean, I wanted to go to college. Everybody was going, but I wanted to go to Hollywood. And I knew I was going to be in show business, but I didn't know, being a little country girl from a rural area, I didn't know how to even get there. Well, I would never have gotten in a car at 18 and driven to Los Angeles. So I went on to UT, followed a boyfriend, high school boyfriend, because I didn't know where else to go. And then I named him. I was coming off the Methodist Youth Fellowship, and he was singing Super Freak and drunk, and I didn't. And I named him, and he was trying to have a good time, and I ruined that. So he broke up with me, and then I was flailing around, and all these bad decisions I made from like 17 to 25 that most people make. Yes, I mean, they're not, my kids remind me, they go, Mom, you tell people you've done all these horrible things. It really wasn't that bad. You were not doing heroin. Right. I did smoke cigarettes behind a dumpster.
But I think if that's the worst thing, I've seen some pretty horrible things go down at the University of Tennessee Knoxville.
I know, but then I felt so guilty because I wasn't doing well in school. My little mom and daddy are working people, and they were paying for me to go to school, and that's the regret that I have. And then I get married, and that was a nightmare. So looking back at all that, living all that, I really kind of got mad at myself and thought, Leanne, how stupid. You were really a ding-dong. And then also reading this back and Audible, and I was able to look back and forgive her. I thought, and I don't mean to do this, y'all, but I thought, oh my gosh, she was a baby. Mm-hmm. And I wish I can go back to her and say to that little 17-year-old, to 25, look what happened. It all happened for a reason, and it made you who you are. And you had this dream, and you didn't stop, and you got through all that. And then you got to have your family. You got to marry and have your beautiful children. And that was God's plan. It was all God's plan. And I learned from all of that. And I'm able to forgive her and go, and in a pretend way, hug her and hold her and say, it's okay. All that stuff, it's okay. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think too, if you think about me, like if I had been 17 and made a bad choice, you wouldn't hold it against me.
No.
No. You would have said, she's 17, she's a baby, she did the best that she could with what she had.
Yeah, and if you had dated somebody that was mean to you, which you've never been through that, mm-hmm. but you have dated a couple of ding-dongs, and I did want to go and beat them up.
Sure.
I'm going to sign a book. Can you believe I'm signing a book?
It's amazing.
Is this crazy? I named it What in the World because every day I go, what in the world? Today, I'm thinking, I'm signing a book for somebody. Is that not crazy?
That wants to read this and is going to be so encouraged by this book.
I hope they are. And I hope that y'all, if take anything away from this, I hope you have a good laugh. But I hope you can relate to it. But I also hope that if you have a dream, if you've always felt like in your heart, there was something God was pulling at you to do, go for it. You only have one life to live. Look at, I've been doing comedy for 25 years and hits in my 50s. In my 50s, it's never too late. And do you get one time around this world? Mm-hmm. Why not? Don't regret it. Right. If you want to go back to school, if you want to go be a yoga teacher, if you want to try something in entertainment, whatever, do it. Mm-hmm. And just see.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
I know. You tried it and you had, that experience.
You gave your best go.
Yes.
I agree. For all of you guys listening, you can get a signed copy while supply lasts at LeanneMorganBook.com. So please head there and get yourself a signed copy. Now it's time for the fans' favorite segment, Rapid Fire. You've got 60 seconds, so don't overthink this.
Okay.
I know all of these answers. Favorite color?
Green.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza.
That's a Weight Watchers red flag food for you.
It is.
The first thing you do when you wake up?
You say that
I can picture you now. You get to the edge of the bed and you just barely hump over and you grab a water bottle and you guzzle it down and then you get chapstick and then you get up and shuffle to the bathroom.
Yeah, chapstick. Lord, I can't be without a chapstick.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I think it's too special for that.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I love a hot dog.
I love a hot dog.
Oh, my Lord. Biggest pet peeve?
When people
you don't have a lot of pet peeves, though. You're pretty easygoing. When people talk over you.
People talk over me.
Which I think I understand.
And I have to yell.
Favorite movie of all time?
I gotta tell you, I think Blaze of Glory.
Favorite memory from childhood?
Riding a bicycle all day. Just riding a bicycle all day and eating a half a can of tuna.
What gets you out of bed every day?
These babies and grandbabies.
What's your love language?
Words of affirmation.
Yes. What's the best book you've ever read?
Off the top of my head lately would have been Where the Crawdads Sing.
I did love that book.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's hard for, to read. You're so busy. And I think you don't get a lot of downtime, but you really read through that thing. You loved it. And where can I get a signed copy?
Leanne Morgan.
Book. LeanneMorganBook.com. So since this is for insiders, why don't you tell us a story about your childhood that's not in the book, but you also maybe haven't shared publicly to an audience?
Well, and I do have one, and I don't know if it's like a big wow, but I think it describes my childhood, being raised in Adams, Tennessee, at 500 people, and my age of people, and how we played. Mm-hmm. Because back then, I don't mean to sound like an old timer, but we had 3 stations. I didn't have cable until Mom and Daddy didn't have cable until I went off to college. Mm-hmm. And so there were 3 stations, and men were always wrestling and stuff on TV. Man, I didn't want to watch that. I mean, sometimes it was fun. But we got out and rode bicycles, no helmet, for 20 miles. Nobody knew where we were. We didn't come home until dark. We were little. Mm-hmm. It was so rural and so boring, but we made fun of, we were able to make fun things happen. Beth, my sister, who is so sissy and was in Miss Tennessee, played with snakes.
Which is crazy. Thinking about what I know of her, that she would just be picking up snakes.
They picked up snakes. She and her friend Marsha, our next door neighbor, playing with snakes.
Because things were so limited.
And handled snakes. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to handle snakes, but I would do commercials. That's in the book of how, when I was little and thought, I'm going to make it in Hollywood, I would get mixed chemicals, and I don't know how I didn't make myself pass out, but I would do commercials in the mirror and for cleaning products and beauty products and all of that. And I would also get out and around our little house, 1,400 square feet, my mom and dad are still in it. They had, shrubs and bushes. Mama loves her flowers and all that. And I would pretend like I was camping, because we weren't a camping family. I always wanted to go camping. Mm. And I had a little grate where I would get out there and act like I was camping, and I actually started a fire one time. I was probably 10. And I was acting like me and my family, my babies were camping, and I think I put bologna on top of it.
Right.
And it's got that bush, and that bush just went up in flames, like, and it was over, like, and Mama, my sweet Mama Lucille, Memo from heaven.
Yes.
Let y'all do whatever y'all want to do.
I've never heard her voice raise ever. And she never told me no or stop anything.
And she really didn't mean either, but this was the one time where back then there was a public service announcement on TV that I guess people were whipping their kids real bad. And it said, if you feel like you're about to do something you shouldn't do, count from 10 down before you touch your child. Mm-hmm. And I remember Mama like coming at me. I don't think she was going to choke me, but she was like, I'd never seen her so mad. And she was so upset because I burned her bush up. And she started counting to 10. I mean, from 10 down. And then kind of talked herself out of doing whatever she was going to do.
Right.
But that's what we did for fun. We did,
burn up bushes.
Yeah. I tell my kids all the time, they were raised in a darling, wonderful neighborhood in Knoxville. And there's a neighborhood pool. And I mean, it's not a huge pool, but it's a neighborhood pool. Mm-hmm. And when they were little, they were like, oh, this pool's tiny, and I don't know if I want to go down to it. And I was like, we did not, me being in rural, Mama couldn't drive till she was in her 40s. Mm-hmm. If Thelma and Marcia and Pam next door were going to the pool, we got a ride with them, and we would go to a public pool where there was no room to swim. Everybody just bombed up and down. But we only went, we didn't get to go that many times, and we swam in a pond. And I know that y'all think I'm probably lying, but I would put on my basketball high-top Converse tennis shoes because there were snapping turtles in the pond. And we just swam and like walked through God knows what, manure. Cows would be in there too. I would just be living. I would think, y'all don't understand.
Know what it's like
to swim in doo-doo, cow doo, and hope that your toes don't get taken off.
So explain to us why you wanted to write a book and why you felt there was a need for the subject matter.
From the time I got into show business and really professionally started when Tess was 18 months old, so you would have been 3. Mm-hmm. And Charlie was 5. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to write a book. I always felt like it was in me. But I wanted to tell this story because I think it would be encouraging to women, stay-at-home moms. I wanted to stay at home with y'all and breastfeed.
Right.
And I had my degree. I'd gotten a degree, I love my degree in child family studies, and I was going to be a crisis intervention counselor if I was not a comedian, but I wanted to be home with y'all. But your daddy's tight, praise God. That he's been frugal because he's given us a wonderful life, and I would have money away at TJ Maxx. Right. Okay, but I started selling jewelry in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. When he moved me up there, he bought this used mobile home business at 27 years old. Mm-hmm. I'd had Charlie.
Which is crazy because I'm 28. And that just goes to show how time, you know what I mean? You already had a baby, and he had moved you to the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains and was owning a business and was working all the time. And I'm 28. And that just seems crazy because that's so far from what I'm doing right now. That's a lot of responsibility on young people.
I know. And he had a lot of employees, but your daddy is Chuck Morgan is a very driven overachiever person. And he ran that business for years and then sold it and went to work for a large mobile home company. But okay, so when he had that business and there would be employees and he loved them, but like if somebody's wife drank too much beer and didn't get diapers like she should have, which I know that's saying, Chuck Morgan would go buy the diapers. So he had all this responsibility on him as a young man.
Right.
So I needed to get my hair highlighted and want y'all to have a cute outfit every once in a while. I needed to get a side hustle, but I didn't want to leave y'all all the time. So I started selling jewelry in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, like women sell Mary Kay and Tupperware. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I wanted to tell that story in this book because I look back on it. And at the time, I just thought, okay, I'm going to make a little bit of money. I can get these things, extra things that we need that we don't have in the budget. And I look back on it and I think, oh my gosh, God, look at God. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, I had my own little comedy club. I had this dream. I wanted to be a stand-up. But, I'm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And I'm thinking, I'll do that sometime. I get to name my babies first. I'll do that sometime. But look at God, because he put me in this place. I didn't even care about jewelry. I didn't even care about jewelry. And all of the women I sold it with loved jewelry. Everybody wore too many chains to the grocery store. And, we all look like Mr. T. But anyway, he put me in these living rooms with women that are my demographic. And I developed a shtick. When I think back on it, what a perfect way to get ready to become a stand-up was I was supposed to be talking about, how to change the look of a pump with a clip earring. There was a whole spiel. And I never talked about that. I talk about, being up all night and your dad didn't hear the baby crying or, spraying breast milk across the room in his cold loafer because I was resentful because I didn't get to sleep, which was twisted. And I'm sorry. And I don't know if Chuck ever knew that. And I just told it. But anyway, I want women to be encouraged to, because even if you're in a bad place or stuck or you think, oh my gosh, I'm selling jewelry in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. All that, everything connects to something else. Everything is getting you ready for something else. And that was just so perfect that I could make women laugh. They thought I was funny. Some of my first material is from my shtick that I did schlepping that jewelry that I took on to do on stage. And I just look back on it and I think, oh my gosh, that was so perfect that I took that, that time in my life to do that. Then the company saw that I was booking so far in advance. And I remember saying this, which is egotistical and arrogant, but I remember saying to women, you can book a party with me now or you can see me in Las Vegas later. And now I play Las Vegas, but I ain't that crazy. But the company noticed that I was booking so far in advance, like a year in advance, because I was fun. We'd eat dip, a brownie. We had a ball. I put that jewelry out on the table, and women thought I was funny. They'd say to their girlfriends, if they were teachers or at churches or whatever, you got to hear her, come and have a jewelry party with her. And then the company noticed that I was doing that, and they asked me to speak at their big regional thing, and I nursed you on the toilet. I sat in a stall at Opryland Hotel, nursed you, handed you over to Mama, and then went on stage. But what confidence that gave me. And there was a professional comedian there who was our entertainment and came up to me and said, you need to be a stand-up. And that gave me the courage. So I felt like in this book, I know that's a roundabout, I'm a talker, but to tell the story of that when you're a mama and you think, or even, a man, if you feel stuck and you think, what does this mean? It all leads to something else. It all helps something later on, that God has a plan.
Well, and what a lot of women tell me that are inspired by your story is they tell me that it is so encouraging to see a mother who was a nurturer and maternal and wanted to have her babies, but also wanted to be something else too. I think there's a lot of pressure on women to choose one or the other. You either have to be career driven or you need to be a mother, and you're selfish on either side if you pick the other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you were maternal and you wanted to be with us and you were an amazing mother, but you also had a dream and you knew that you had this in you. And that your most important title is mother, I would say, to you.
Yes.
But there's other things about you that you wanted. There was other dreams and there's other things that you had to share with the world, that wasn't just being a mother. And that's okay. And that you can do both, and that there's time for both and there's space for both. And so you just have to find that confidence from within, or if it takes someone like that professional comedian to say, I think you could be a stand-up, and that gives you okay, maybe I should give this a go. But that women should be encouraged to not just make themselves one thing to fit this box. They can be a lot of things and be really good at a good mother and a good business person, comedian, whatever it might be.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful way to put it. And I think being a stay-at-home mom back then, I remember sitting in the yard with y'all playing around me and seeing an airplane go over and think, where are they going? And thinking, I wish I could go somewhere. But that God had timing, the perfect timing. And I say in this book, which makes me want to cry, but I mean, I've been doing comedy for 25 years, had a pretty good career. I mean, things, I always made money. It was not anything like now. I had Hollywood after me at different times wanting me to do development deals for sitcoms, but they wouldn't make it and all that. But I was just about to give up. I was so discouraged and thinking I'm just tired and it's not going anywhere. It's not what I want it to be. And your daddy telling me, no, keep going. And then think of this at God's timing. I moved, I had hired these social media guys. I never invested in myself like I should have. I took the money. I thought I'm going to give them 3 months. If something doesn't happen, I'm out. I know that's the sign. I'm out. We go to move my baby child into Brooklyn, into an apartment for her to go to makeup school for television and film in Manhattan. And that was the first day that my campaign started with this social media company. They put out the first video. I think it was the one about me taking your daddy to go see Def Leppard and Journey, and everybody looked sick and had plantar fasciitis.
Right.
That we were moving her into that apartment, my last child, to start her. Okay, and then that video went viral, and I could feel it. I knew something was happening. I saw it on my phone being shared thousands of times. Nothing had ever happened like that for me. I couldn't, comedy clubs had said, we love her, she doesn't get drunk and fight in the parking lot, but we're not having her back, she can't sell tickets. And this video went viral, and I called the social media people, and they go, I've never seen anything like it. It was like electricity went through my body. I could feel it. And I started, people that were watching that started watching my other stuff, and then started calling comedy clubs all over the United States asking if they could get me. I started selling out overnight. And that was God's time. And what I'm saying, I get right. But my last baby, I got her moved in, and I think he went, look, okay, girl,
now
let's go. Yeah, let's see it. This is it. I feel like that was him.
Yes. This book is amazing. I might be biased, of course, as your daughter, but it really is amazing. And it's been so neat to watch you pour your heart and your soul into it. And I see how much effort and how much of yourself you put into it. And so I really admire that. And I'm really proud of you. And it really is an amazing piece of work. And I think it's a legacy that I'm really proud that you're able to leave for the world. So you can go to LeanneMorganBook.com to get your signed copy while supplies last. You will not want to miss out on the opportunity to read this book. Thank you for having me. Is there anything else that you want to tell your audience?
Thank you for doing this. I hope that y'all get I hope you laugh, mainly. I hope you laugh. I hope you can relate to a lot of it, because a lot of y'all, I think, when I'm traveling and touring, people say, oh my gosh, I'm living your life. I'm married to your husband. Those are my kids. So I hope you feel that in it too. And I hope it's encouraging, really, to say, it's never too late. Don't give up. All those, cliche-ish things, but it's true,
What's for you will not pass you by, right?
Yes.
I think that's a good one to live by.
Yes. So I hope y'all like it.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm signing the gold right now. So yummy. Leanne Morgan. You can go to LeanneMorganBook.com and get yours.